Hi guys, so I wanted to hop on here and have a little bit of a more informal talk with you. And since we're not going to have a show this Monday, it's going to be a little quicker, not the full hour that we usually have. But I just wanted to hop on a Zoom actually and talk about some stuff and have more of a open dialogue. And if no one watches this, fine. If one person watches this and gets any help or advice from what I say, then that's the goal. But I want to talk about the concept of why not you or why not me. And recently I've been thinking, and I am lucky enough to have a mentor. And I was thinking I was applying to jobs and internships, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get this. And she said something to me which made me think. She said, well, why not? Why not you? They have to pick somebody. Why wouldn't they pick you? And as soon as she said that, it kind of changed the framework of how I think about different aspects of my life. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but do you guys remember, um, at least for my school, I think in middle school they started doing this, and in high school they would send out like surveys and forms. I don't know if it was a mental health check or what it was, but mine would always come back and have low self-esteem, and they would send it to my parents, even though I'm pretty sure they told us it was anonymous. And my parents would ask me, why do you have low self-esteem? And I never could pinpoint why. And I think today I want to get on and talk about when these limited self-beliefs started and when we developed them. Because I wrote it down the other day, but they used to tell us like we could be anything we wanted. I remember in elementary school you could be the president, you could be an astronaut, like you could be a doctor, you can be anything you want in the world. So when did we decide that that wasn't possible? And I feel like the why not you mindset can apply to that guy you like or that girl or that or they, whoever you like. I think for me, every time I develop a crush on a person, my initial my initial mindset is to think, oh, well, they're not gonna like me. And if we use that why not you mindset that we talked about, well, why not? Why wouldn't they like you? Why not you? Does that make sense? And I think the most the example that comes to mind is, okay, think about somebody iconic. Think about, okay, I think I just watched Wicked, so Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande is just a person. She's the same person as us, same type of person. It's not like anybody's born more than or less than anyone else. I mean, look at the Constitution. All humans are created equal. She's just a person. Why couldn't you be her? Why couldn't you be in that position? And I think as a kid, I think that I was born with this belief that I knew that I was going to be successful. I knew that I was going meant to be seen, that I was meant to be something and someone. And I think that belief is still in there in my heart and my soul. But I think we get so impacted by other factors of our lives that we lose insight to that core belief, and we start to develop negative core beliefs. And we start to think that we won't be chosen for something, even if, let's say, you're applying for a job and your resume is just as good as everyone else's, but you still think somebody else is going to get chosen for the job. And then, if you believe in manifestation of the universe, which I personally do, that there's no way to, that's just not the way to go about it. That makes sense. And I think this is coming off as very, hmm, very melodramatic. Is that the right word? But I think about, okay, so the most recent experience I can think of is I recently was accepted into a study abroad program. And I remember thinking that I wasn't going to get in for some reason. And I kept trying to think of reasons why I thought I wasn't going to get in, and none of them were real valid reasons. And I remember reading the email of when I did get in, and my reaction was, it was just like, oh, okay. It was just like, okay. Which, and even now, I think part of me still doesn't believe that it's going to work out or that's going to be taken away from me for some reason, even though I deserve this opportunity just as much as anybody else has been accepted, if not more. I think it's weird how we don't celebrate our wins, no matter how small or how big. I think it's interesting how we constantly compare our wins to other people's wins, and maybe this is just because we're in college right now and everything's competitive, but I personally believe that it's just kind of a life thing. And I think that kind of that's why we believe that we won't be chosen and we won't be the special one or the lucky one, even though the people that are the special or lucky ones, they're they're not better than us in any way, shape, or form. Like nobody's born better. I hope this kind of makes sense. I don't know. I don't know if it makes sense. It could just be me rambling, but I think that in order to achieve what we want to achieve, all of us have our own set of goals and they're different or maybe they're similar. I think that we do have to believe that we are the people that deserve it in a way. And I know that everybody gets frustrated by people who it seems like things are just handed to them. I know that I do all the time where like I'm going for the same opportunity that somebody else has and I feel like it was handed to them where I have to work 10 times as hard as them. But what if we shift our mindset? Why can't we be the ones that it's handed to? I don't know if that's I don't know if that's exactly what I mean. Going off the dome here, but I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think I remember okay, I think that this is a good example. I remember being like 4 years old, and I remember thinking that I was the most beautiful girl in the world. And I don't exactly know when that belief changed, and maybe it's the best not to have that belief, narcissistic tendencies and all that. But I think it's crazy how we come into this world with so much self-confidence, and then because of factors that aren't in our control, we internalize them, and then we bring ourselves down. And I think it's frustrating, at least for me, especially as a girl, especially as a girl who's in a more in a more business field, in a more male dominated field. I think it's interesting that we bring ourselves down because of all these other factors. It brings us down, and then we start to believe it and how much effect it has on us. And I think what I'm just trying to say and get on here and say is next time you want something, next time there's an opportunity presented to you, next time you have a crush, next time you want to ask somebody on a date, why not you? Why wouldn't that person choose you? Why wouldn't that job hire you? Why wouldn't that person say yes to going on a date with you? Why wouldn't they want to hang out with you? Why not you? And I think to me, every time that my parents would see the low self like confidence score, they would always say, I don't understand why you have low self confidence. I don't see why. And I think it's weird because as humans, I think we just rely so much on external validation, which I don't think is completely unhealthy. I think we just need it because we're social creatures by nature. But that kind of helped me reframe my mind. It's like, well, obviously they're my parents and they wish the best of me, but other people don't see it the way that you do, and you might see yourself as behind and not as accomplished, but other people might see you as extremely accomplished and you're always ahead and on top of things. So why not you? So why do you put other people in this position of being superior than you? Why would you put yourself there? Does that make sense? I think seeing yourself from other people's eyes is extremely important, not only for confidence, but self-image. And everybody perceives everyone else in a different way, but I think we also perceive ourselves in a different way. And I don't think that our perception of ourselves is necessarily the truth. Like if I were to be 100% honest with my perception of myself, I think that a lot of the people in my life would be confused as to where I'm getting this, where I'm getting my data from, where I'm getting my scientific research from. So I just think that that's interesting. I think that maybe we should go back to being those 4-year-olds who maybe we do have an inflated ego. Maybe we do believe that we can take over the world. I don't see the issue with that. Obviously, if it's not hurting anybody, it's not an issue. I'm not saying I think that a negative self belief and a low confidence, it can really steal a lot of your joy. I don't know why I don't like that word, but it can just, it can also take away a lot of opportunities for you that maybe you would have gotten chosen from. And it can stop you from putting yourself out there in that way. So I think having imposter syndrome is kind of needed. And even when I was accepted into UCI, well, if anyone doesn't know, I'm a third year now at UCI. I think I had imposter syndrome. I think if you would have asked the Hannah in elementary school or the Hannah in middle school, or even the freshman in high school Hannah, I don't think that I thought that going to college was even an option for me, since I do have a learning disability, since I do have ADHD, since like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be, I don't think that I'm the average UCI student who academics comes naturally to me. I think for me, I work really hard, and I don't think that I'm any less smart than they are. I think my brain just works differently and works in different ways. And I think that a lot of times that makes me smarter than other people. I just think that when you're neurodivergent, the school system is just not set up for you. And I think that created negative self beliefs. And then even when I did start to become academically successful and have a really good high school academic career and now a really good college academic career, I think a lot of it, I explain it away. Oh, that class was easier. Oh, it was COVID, so it was easier. Which that isn't true because if you ask other people in the class, they wouldn't agree with that. I think you, either me personally, I hope it's not just me, but even for all the achievements that I've had, I explain it away and minimize them instead of lifting them up. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on here and have a quick chat since we won't be chatting our usual Mondays at 8 a.m. And if this seems a little quiet and a little sad, it's also because it's really early in the morning. Um, and I think I get a little nervous. It's a lot easier to talk behind a mic and I don't have to stare at myself. I think that threw me off a little bit. Also, let's not talk about my room being messy. Let's not talk about that. But I hope that this can help at least one person. Maybe even if that person's me, maybe I'll watch this back when I'm older and maybe I'll think I'm crazy now, or maybe be like, hey, at 20 years old, maybe I was onto something. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and remember, why not you?